Welcome to Rising, everyone. It's election day, but we got a lot in the show as well. Sagar, what are we doing?
Yeah, we got a lot that we're looking at today. We've got Tim Black. He's going to stop by to talk a little bit about 2020. We have Congressman John Yarmuth. He talked to Crystal down in Kentucky about the election that's happening today.
That's right.
Reed Wilson, he's a Hill.com reporter. He was down on the ground in Iowa. He's going to tell us exactly what he saw. And of course, we're going to talk about Bernie Sanders. He's been firing back at Elizabeth Warren on Medicare for All. Lots of debate now on a hot topic. All that coming up today on Rising.
That's
but
right.
Before we get into that,
if you hear that music and notice it's different, that is our special election music.
Ooh.
You may not know that, but that's what that is. So you should start, I don't know, there should be some Pavlovian response when you hear that music to start getting really amped up and go to the voting booth. Okay, so just a few states have elections today, but there are some interesting things we're looking at. You mentioned Kentucky. I've got an interview with John Yarmuth in the show today about the odds for Democrats in that state. Now, obviously, this is a state that has had a fast rightward shift, even though Democrats had control of the state not very long ago. It should be a gimme for the Republican incumbent governor, Matt Bevin, but he is deeply unpopular because he picked this nasty fight with the teachers in the state.
Yes.
Teachers are very popular. Matt Bevin is not. However, the president is still very popular in Kentucky. He was on the ground there last night trying to pull Bevin over the finish line. When I was there over the weekend, you know, everybody I talked to said it's really a toss-up. The Democrats think they have a very strong ground game, but, you know, the national wins are against Democrats in this particular state.
It's funny because Trump even said, I know he's a nasty guy, but that's why we love him.
Yeah, he said he's a pain in the ass. That's what he said.
He basically was like, I was like, he can be annoying, but you should vote for him. So, I mean, that is classic Trump, right?
It is.
You're right. He is overwhelmingly popular in Kentucky, particularly, I think, eastern Kentucky, and some of these areas that are particularly decimated by the lack of coal mining infrastructure and the loss of those jobs. And the opioid crisis. That really is like one of the heart of these districts that all have voted for Trump. So I have seen this also from the Trump campaign. He is often able to put unpopular Republicans over the finish line.
Back in office.
Ron DeSantis in 2018. One of the narratives was, of course, that the Democrats might have taken back the House, but there were a lot of vulnerable Republicans who took a huge bump because Trump visited them in office.
Right.
And a lot of people here just can't understand. He is the most popular Republican in this country by a mile. You could send Mike Pence there; it's not going to do a damn thing.
And Mike Pence was already there and it didn't do a damn thing.
It will do nothing.
Don Jr. went, also didn't matter. I mean, just to give you a sense of how unpopular Bevin is in the Republican primary, again, he's the incumbent governor. He was up against these no-name opponents, and he was barely able to get 52% of the vote. He lost a bunch of those counties in eastern Kentucky, 30 different counties he actually lost in the primary, so he's deeply unpopular. The Democrat on the other side, Andy Beshear, it's a famous political sort of legacy name in the state. His dad was governor. He's the current attorney general, so it's a very well-known last name. But as you know, that can cut both ways because sometimes people look at the political dynasty and they say, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And I do think it is fair to say, because Trump has attached himself to the state and because Bevin has so attached himself to Trump, it is a little bit of a referendum on Trump's pull and sway at this point.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is Trump and Bevin both smartly said, this is a vote for the president. You need to send me to help, the president's agenda. It's a great strategy in a state that loves Trump.
Yeah, so we'll see. Mississippi also has their governor's election. There's the Democrat Attorney General Jim Hood versus the Lieutenant Governor Republican Tate Reeves. This one I think is a little tougher for Democrats. Not only, and actually the Democrat is hanging in there, but not only because you have to win, but they have this weird rule there. You have to win a majority of the state house districts, which makes it very, very challenging there. Also this week in Virginia, where I live.
That's
my home
right.
State, there's a chance that Democrats will pick up both the state house and the Senate. Of course, they already control the governor's mansion, which I just have to say, having grown up in this state, it's been a long time since Democrats have had control here.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's happened in decades now.
No, it was a very different kind of Democrat that had control of the state a long time ago, before my era.
And that's the thing is Virginia is a blue state now. It effectively is.
It is.
And I mean, with the demographic changes, the suburban consolidation in Northern Virginia, that's where a lot of the economic power is. And I guess some of the depopulation and people moving, moving from from the eastern part of the state, and then all these other people coming in, it's a straight up blue state. There's just
it's a suburban state.
People really used to call it purple, and it's not. It's not rural anymore. It's a suburban state.
Yeah, it's Northern Virginia, it's the Richmond suburbs, and it's Hampton Roads. And I think the thing to look for in this one is Virginia's off-year elections were a real sort of testing ground and canary in the coal mine for the midterm wins for Democrats. So do Democrats still have that sort of feverish motivation to go out and vote for their candidates, and again, sort of against Trump here? That'll be the thing to watch in Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot to keep an eye on. We're going to tell you what's on our radars. That's next.